the necessity and the ways to rediscover a sense of European identity through cultural heritage. At a time when the whole world is facing a profound transformation of our way of life, our shared cultural heritage and values constitute a much-needed anchor and compass. They can indeed provide a sense of direction and inspiration to make the right choices ahead of us. Cultural heritage ensures the link between our roots, identities, and traditions and the wider European and global picture. Participation in and engagement with cultural heritage also enable us to embrace our diversity and to use it as a source of enrichment and creativity. How European citizens feel and understand their shared heritage and how the process of heritage interpretation is facilitated is critical for the future of Europe. Therefore, greater investment in culture, education, science, and innovation must be at the heart of the promotion of our European way of life in its full diversity. This is also why, in the future, a European Union of shared values must be as important as Europe's economic, monetary, or political union. According to UNESCO, cultural heritage is the legacy of physical artifacts and intangible attributes of a group or society that are inherited from past generations, maintained in the present, and bestowed for the benefit of future generations. According to the Lisbon Treaty of the European Union, the Union shall respect its rich cultural and linguistic diversity and shall ensure that Europeans' cultural heritage is safeguarded and enhanced. European citizens can discover they live accordingly to common European values through actions that lead them to live experiences together while belonging to different countries, speaking different languages. Promoting action to work together with many fields, it can be an important way to discover a sense of European identity through cultural heritage. The cultural heritage, through any kind of European project, can bring together people of different age groups and backgrounds and help to break down barriers, teaching tolerance and respect for each other's differences. The cultural heritage can open people's mind to the beauty hidden with other cultures and create lasting connections between people. It is a good way to initiate networking. When we develop personal connections to people from very different cultures, we learn to understand their problems and the difficulties they face both individually and within the community. Understanding is the first step towards integration. In this context, education and culture are how we turn circumstances into opportunities, how we turn mirrors into windows, and how we give roots to what European means. In this context, it is essential to promote what we receive in connection with cultural diversity, the dialogue between cultures and social cohesion, and prize the economic contribution of cultural heritage to development, as well as the role of cultural heritage in international relations from conflict prevention to post-conflict reconciliation and the recovery of destroyed heritage. In this way, the recovery of a village may make a great contribution. Cultural heritage represents an emblematic milestone within which cultural public policies must be based on the care of heritage and memory. Cultural heritage doesn't refer only to past, but also about the permanence of common values, the safeguarding of differences, and the respect for what is proper, what refers to others, and what is common heritage. And if we don't understand it this way, as a dialogue between tradition and progress, and an understanding of cultural and religious roots, how will we understand Europe? Everyone's heritage. Heritage for the new generations. Cultural heritage is present in cities, towns, and villages, in the streets, in natural landscapes, in monuments, museums, palaces, and archaeological sites, but also in literature, art, music, theater, cinema, objects in tradition, crafts, in gastronomy, in stories told, in the environments, and in the spirit of the places. culture is citizenship and prosperity. The European Union and its member countries are joining efforts to promote the exchange of experiences and good practices to protect, prize, and promote the European cultural heritage. Helping to unleash a process of effective changes in the way we experience, protect, and promote heritage is one of the European Union's short-term objectives so that in a long term its citizens reap these benefits. Heritage allows us to understand the past and look to the future and therefore build stronger societies, create more jobs and strengthen Europe's relations with the rest of the world, preserving as well the European identity. Free and responsible citizenship, shared sovereignty, the union of free and sovereign states, supranational democracy, subsidiarity, and the oriented development to human dignity is only possible through the understanding of cultural heritage and thus assuming civilized citizenship. A younger future for European culture. Young people have a fundamental role in creating unity among the diverse European culture, and consequently they have inspired new generations to discover different cultures and to understand better their common cultural heritage. Young people sustain that there should be more opportunities for language learning through travel and easier access to European cultural seats. The preservation of culture through crafts and gastronomy with the potential to increase tolerance among nations are ideas highlighted by them. Strengthening European identity through education and culture. Many challenges are of a transnational nature and require a collective answer. For example, how can we help 44% of Europeans of all ages who still lack basic digital skills? How can we defend press freedom, media pluralism, and quality journalism? And how can we enforce our values of freedom and democracy against populism and xenophobia? Education and culture must be an integral part of the solution, and that is why we all agree that Erasmus Plus is a way to rediscover the sense of European identity. With the need to rediscover the meaning of European identity through cultural heritage, the European Union's mission is to share the cultural heritage which belongs to all of us. Through school, children discover Europe's most precious traditions and treasures, and young people bring a new life to heritage. The sustainability of the European identity is guaranteed by the reinvention of sites, landscape, industrial, military, and religious buildings. The responsible and sustainable tourism is the big engine geared to cultural heritage. In order to guarantee the protection and preservation of heritage, the European Union is developing quality standards for interventions in cultural heritage and therefore struggle against illegal trafficking of cultural goods and managing risks to cultural heritage. Promoting innovation, the European Union boosts heritage-related skills to improve education and training both in new and more traditional professions, which is reflected in the restocked villages. Fostering social innovation and the participation of people and communities, placing science at the service of heritage through research, innovation and technology is how Europeans enhance their identity. Finally, as the current crisis has shown, the clear interconnection and fragility of humanity provide Europe with a unique opportunity to enhance its positive and constructive role in the world. Culture and cultural heritage are key drivers for enhancing respect, understanding, and trust as the prerequisites for global solidarity and cooperation. Europe should thereby use its rich cultural resources to champion this process.